Bitcoin hit 78,000 on Friday. Then, Iran lied, and everything reversed. Strategy just spent $2.5 billion buying the dip, their third largest purchase ever. A $300 million DeFi hack wiped out altcoins over the weekend. Tether dominance just bounced, and that bounce is the most important signal on any chart right now. And tomorrow, the documentary that claims to have finally unmasked Bitcoin's creator drops. 5 things, all happening at once, all pointing to the same question. Is this the last dip before Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, or the beginning of something much worse? I'm Dax. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you will know exactly what to watch and exactly what to do. This is Dax Crypto Lab, where analysis becomes action. Let me tell you exactly what happened this weekend, because the sequence of events matters more than any single headline. Friday afternoon, Iran declared the Strait of Hormuz fully open. Trump told reporters that Tehran had agreed to an unlimited suspension of its nuclear program. The market reacted instantly. Bitcoin exploded from 74,000 to 78,000 in hours. $762 million in liquidations, mostly shorts. The biggest short squeeze of 2026. Funding rates had been negative for weeks, meaning shorts were paying longs to hold positions. Friday's Hormuz headline was the match that lit the fuel. Then came Saturday. Iran's foreign ministry released a statement saying Trump's claims contained significant inaccuracies. The blockade on Iranian ports was not lifted. The unlimited nuclear suspension was never agreed to. Oil reversed. Brent crude spiked 5.7%. Bitcoin pulled back from 78,000 to 74,000. One headline up, one headline down. This is the market we are operating in right now. Not a technical market, not a fundamental market. A headline-driven market where geopolitical statements move price by 3 to 5% in hours. Understanding this is more important than any chart pattern. Now, while all of this was happening, strategy made their move. 34,164 Bitcoin, $2.5 billion, the third largest single purchase in Strategy's history. While retail was panic-watching the Iran headlines, the largest corporate Bitcoin holder on the planet was quietly accumulating at exactly the level where retail was most scared. That is not luck. That is a systematic institutional playbook executed perfectly. They are not trading the headlines. They are using the headlines. There is a third story from this weekend that most people missed, and it matters for the broader crypto market. Saturday, Kelp DAO was exploited for $292 million. The attacker drained 116,500 RRZ, roughly 18% of the entire circulating supply, from Kelp's Layer 0 powered bridge. The hack triggered emergency freezes across Aave, Sparkland, Fluid, and Upshift. Layer 0 attributed the attack to North Korea's Lazarus Group. This is now the largest single crypto exploit of 2026, and it comes on top of $606 million in total crypto hack losses in April alone, nearly 4 times the entire first quarter of 2026. Why does this matter for Bitcoin? 2 reasons. First, DeFi hacks create fear. Fear creates Tether dominance increases. Tether dominance increases create Bitcoin pullbacks. You can see this directly in the chart right now. Tether dominance bounced this weekend after the hack. Second, every major DeFi hack accelerates institutional preference for Bitcoin over altcoins. When $290 million disappears from a DeFi protocol overnight, institutions ask one question: why would we hold anything other than Bitcoin? This is quietly bullish for Bitcoin's relative strength, even as it is bearish for altcoins and the broader market. Now let's talk about what the charts are actually showing, because this is where most people get confused. Bitcoin is at 75,400. Monday opening, new trading week. And here is the first thing you need to understand about today specifically. Monday is the most manipulative day of the trading week. This is not an opinion. This is a statistical reality across financial markets. Market makers use Monday openings to shake out weak positions, both longs and shorts, before establishing the direction for the week. The spike to 78,000 on Friday, followed by the pullback to 74,000 over the weekend, created the perfect setup for a Monday manipulation. Weak longs who bought the spike at 77 and 78 are now underwater and nervous. Smart money knows exactly where their stop losses are. Right now, Bitcoin is sitting at the key support zone, above 73,000. The structure is intact. The bullish case is alive, below 73,000, and we are looking at the two CME gaps marked in green on the chart. Those CME gaps are sitting below current price like magnets. CME gaps have a well-documented historical tendency to fill. They do not always fill immediately, but they fill. The question for this week is whether Bitcoin fills those gaps before continuing higher, or whether it holds above 73,000 and targets 80,000 directly. Now, look at Tether dominance, 7.444% right now. It was 7.325 on Friday. It bounced over the weekend. That bounce is the single most important data point in the entire market right now. When Tether dominance rises, money is returning to stablecoins. Fear is increasing. Capital is de-risking. The Iran situation, the DeFi hack, the uncertainty about the new trading week, all of it is showing up in Tether dominance bouncing. But here is the critical nuance the teacher highlighted. Tether dominance gave a negative reaction from the main resistance zone. That means the bounce is happening, but it is being rejected from above. Resistance is holding. If Tether dominance cannot break above that resistance, it will resume lower. And when Tether dominance resumes lower, Bitcoin goes higher. The market is also loaded with late longs right now. The teacher flagged this specifically. Too many people bought the Friday spike at 77 and 78,000. Those positions are now stressed. Fear and greed is at 28. Fear territory. Funding is still positive, meaning longs are paying shorts. That combination, too many longs, fear reading, positive funding, is the setup that precedes a stop hunt. Smart money will look to flush those stops before the real move begins. Do not be the person who gets stopped out at 73,000 right before Bitcoin goes to 80,000.
Get daily crypto insights by subscribing now.
Now let me give you the angle on tomorrow that nobody in crypto analysis is connecting to price. Tomorrow, April 22nd, Finding Satoshi drops, a 4-year documentary investigation claiming to have the definitive answer to who created Bitcoin, with interviews from Michael Saylor, Fred Ehrsam, Joseph Lubin. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong previewed it and said, "I suspect you got to the right answer." This comes on top of last week's New York Times 18-month AI investigation naming Adam Back, CEO of Blockstream, as the strongest Satoshi candidate in 17 years. Searches for Satoshi Nakamoto exploded over 2,150% this week. Who created Bitcoin? Super hot on search. Adam Back Bitcoin, over 2,000% growth. Bitcoin founder, over 800% growth. Here is why this matters for price, and it is not obvious. When mainstream media focuses on Bitcoin, even on a mystery story, it brings new eyeballs to Bitcoin. New eyeballs become new buyers. Not all of them, not immediately, but historically, every major Bitcoin media moment drives a measurable uptick in exchange signups and purchases in the 2 to 4 weeks that follow. The Finding Satoshi premiere tomorrow is a Bitcoin media moment. It will be covered by mainstream news. It will trend on social media. It will bring curious non-crypto people to search Bitcoin. That is a tailwind. Not a rocket, a tailwind. Combined with Strategy's $2.5 billion accumulation, combined with nearly $1 billion in Bitcoin ETF inflows last week, the institutional and media backdrop for Bitcoin this week is genuinely constructive. The technical setup is the only question mark. 3 scenarios for this week, and I want to be precise, because the teacher made one thing very clear. This week is the most decisive week for crypto in a long time. There is no middle ground here. Scenario 1, the bullish resolution. Bitcoin holds above 73,000 through Monday's manipulation. Tether dominance rejects from current resistance and resumes lower toward 7.2 to 7.3. Iran situation stabilizes, or at minimum does not escalate further. The combination of institutional buying from strategy, ETF inflows, finding Satoshi media attention, and clean technical structure above 73,000 gives Bitcoin the foundation to target 80,000. This is the scenario strategy is positioned for. This is the scenario the on-chain data supports, with long-term holders at their highest dominance since the cycle low. Scenario 2. The CME gap fill first. Monday manipulation pushes Bitcoin below 73,000. Weak longs flush out. Bitcoin drops to collect the two CME gaps marked in green on the chart. This is not catastrophic. This is actually healthy. The CME gaps represent unfinished business, price levels that the market bypassed too quickly on the way up. Filling them gives Bitcoin a clean foundation for the move to 80,000. The teacher's guidance was clear. If we lose 73,000, we are going to collect those two gaps. Then we reassess. Scenario 3. Geopolitical escalation. Iran escalates beyond the current standoff. Oil breaks above 110. Tether dominance pushes above resistance and trends higher. Bitcoin loses the key support zone, and the CME gap fill becomes a deeper correction. No major macro data until Thursday, which means the Iran situation and Tether dominance are the only two variables that matter for the first half of this week. In this scenario, patience. No action without confirmation. Let me zoom out and give you the context that the daily noise is making people forget. We are 24 months into Bitcoin's post-halving cycle. Historically, the 12 to 24 months following a halving are Bitcoin's strongest bull market phase. We are in that window right now. Bitcoin ETFs now hold over $60 billion in assets under management. Major pension funds and endowments are allocating. The U.S. government holds a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Charles Schwab, $12 trillion in client assets, launched spot Bitcoin trading. Morgan Stanley launched a Bitcoin ETF. Citigroup published research validating Bitcoin in every portfolio. Strategy holds nearly 800,000 Bitcoin and is still buying. The global money supply M2 recently hit new all-time highs at $22.7 trillion. When money supply expands, hard assets historically benefit. Bitcoin is the hardest asset ever created. The macro backdrop for Bitcoin in 2026 is the most constructive in its history. A geopolitical flare-up with Iran, a DeFi hack, a Monday manipulation sweep. These are noise against that backdrop, not signals. The teacher said it clearly. If we hold the support zone, we see 80,000. That is not hope. That is structure meeting macro. And the structure is intact as long as 73,000 holds. 3 things to watch this week. 1. 73,000 on Bitcoin. This is the line. Above it, bullish structure intact, target 80,000. Below it, CME gap fill incoming, wait for the bounce before any long entry. Do not panic below 73,000. Prepare for it. 2. Tether dominance resistance. 7.444 right now, approaching the resistance zone from below. If it gets rejected and resumes lower, Scenario 1 activating. If it breaks above resistance, caution, Scenario 2 or 3 coming. 3. Iran headlines through Thursday. No major macro data until Thursday, which means geopolitical news is the only catalyst this week. Watch oil, watch the Strait of Hormuz, watch Trump's statements, and watch Finding Satoshi tomorrow, not for the mystery, but for the Bitcoin media attention it generates. The teacher's final message was clear. The market is loaded with late longs. It needs time to breathe. Monday is the most manipulative day of the week. Give it time. Watch the zones. Don't force a position. The best trade this week might be no trade until the structure confirms. Most people in crypto right now are reacting to every headline. The smart ones are watching Tether dominance and waiting for 73,000 to hold or break. Price targets are opinions. Triggers are facts. Drop your take in the comments. Are you holding through this week or waiting for a cleaner entry? Is Bitcoin going to 80,000 or filling the CME gaps first? I read every single one, and I will reply. Hit the like if this gave you clarity on the most important week in crypto this year. You run your own lab.
Get daily crypto insights by subscribing now.
This Sunday, we go even deeper into how institutional money is reshaping Bitcoin's market structure in ways most retail investors have never noticed. Subscribe, hit the bell. Every Sunday, we build the system. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Real-time market analysis. I'm Dax. This is Dax Crypto Lab, where analysis becomes action.